many people realize that Trump's so-called putting people back to work still isn't going to help probably another couple 100,000 people, such as contractors, such as individual workers, people that have their own small businesses, artists. I mean, think of how many artists who provide art for the government in many different formats, including even at the government gift shops. That stuff doesn't get made by a blink of the eye. The problem I see with this temporary opening is that the government is, at least since Trump has been in office and Pence, both of them are equally offensive. They are taking away transgenders' rights. They're taking away the LGBTQ plus, all of their rights as much as they can. And the government, in my mindset, ever since pretty much the election, actually it was during the running of him, has created such a hostile environment and so much hostility for the Americans against other Americans that the pressures are making the United States of America the United States of PTSD. I feel that the depression, the hostility, the anxiety, the dread, and the enormous amount of suicide that is happening not only with the military but also with the everyday person, marriages, relationships, children, everybody is suffering from this continuous waiting for the other foot to drop. Because how much is it going to help somebody to have 2 weeks' pay and then they're told, oh, by the way, if I don't get what I want, like a 2-year-old, stamping their foot, I'm going to just I'm just going to declare martial law or whatever he's trying to call it, and I'll get what I want anyway. Well, here's the reality. I mean, there was just a story in the paper that drones are bringing the drugs in over the wall, anywhere where there's a wall in Mexico. They're coming in through all the other ports of entry off of the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans. They're coming in through planes. I mean, the wall issue is not going to help. In fact, there's a Native American tribe that they're in both countries, and the wall would divide their tribal lands. We have butterflies that are going to be destroyed. We have animals that are going to be destroyed. This has nothing to do with security from terrorists, because you see, we're the terrorists. The United States of America is the terroristic group. We're the ones that are begging, and we're the ones that are putting duct tape over people's faces. We're the one putting them in handcuffs. We're the terrorists. We have become a terrorist nation. And when people got upset because he signed the temporary thing so that the workers who, by the way, had to work, many of them without pay, which is called slavery. Now, I don't know about you, but in my history books, I learned that we had a war. It was called a civil war to get rid of slavery. And so how are we any different than those that had slavery before? Trump is like a plantation owner who thinks the whole country is his to use and abuse in whatever way he wants to. And Pence, he's just such a jerkwad who thinks anybody who's gay should be abused and hurt, when quite frankly, the man probably is so gay he's terrified. The whole situation is, why did people think that Trump made an error to give people what they are entitled to? If you're forced to work without pay, I'm sorry, that's either you're in a prison, and even in prisons, by the way, the people that make the license plates, they even got money, they even got paid. They do the laundry, they get paid. Not a lot, but they get paid. So why would you think it was okay for him to continue this shutdown when our country, our financial base has been destroyed? In fact, it is possible that we're not going to recover from this one because he has caused so much trouble with his ridiculous ideas of tariffs. Oh my God. You know, we used to be a respected country in the world, and now NATO and the United Nations are viewing us as a danger and somebody not to trust. It's just so disgusting, the whole thing. But my concern, and my only concern, is for the men and the women in this country and the children who are going through such horrible times, such as the people that had the hurricanes in Florida and Texas, and especially the people in the fires on the West Coast, but notably the Paradise and the valley areas around there, their fires. I mean, the whole town is gone, and the idiot in the White House thinks it's okay to take funding away from them to build a wall. Put that $6.7 billion into helping the citizens of this country, who, by the way, paid the taxes for that $6.7 billion for you to want to take. Put it where it's supposed to go. Put it back in the country. Put it back for the people that are the ones that paid the taxes so that if something happens, we'd have some kind of help. Put it back there. Give it back to the people. Stop this tyrannical two-year-old tantrum. Excuse me, 2-year-olds. You actually have some ration. Give the money to the people that gave you the money in the first place. Those of us United States citizens. And stop terrorizing them and stop treating them like they're less than pond scum. Because, quite frankly, when you take away a person's dignity and you take away their income and their ability to support their family, you're telling them they're worthless. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell you something. Listen, you SOB, and that's what you are. You're the most disgusting human I've ever met. In fact, there isn't even a term that describes how disgusting you and your family, who think people can deal without having money. I hope that you end up penniless and in jail. And I hope your whole family ends up behind bars. And I mean for the rest of their eternity. Because what you've done to some people, there are people who are dead now because of you. And you're no different than what Hitler did to the people or Mussolini did. You're just as disgusting and just as worthless. And I'm just hoping that the senators that have allowed you to continue wake up and smell the flowers, because their people in their states have died or are dying or have become homeless or their children are starving because of your greed and your ego. And let's be honest, I hope Nancy Pelosi never lets you into Congress's hall. I hope you have to give your stupid political speech standing outside the White House in the cold, because I don't want you in my Congress. I don't want you spewing your lies in my Congress. So stay away. And that's it.